Coronavirus has caused huge amount of death all across the world. This is because we are unable to identify the virus at the movement, because this harmful strain of coronavirus is intelligent, or in other words, it is keeping on mutating itself. Because of this mutation, some of the patients of the novel coronavirus are very severely affected, while some remains unaffected at all. But how is that possible? And is it just because of the mutation in the virus itself? Well, stay tuned to Gateway to Knowledge to know how COVID-19 cases can be so variable. A study shows that at least 3.5% patients who are suffering with severe COVID-19 have mutations in genes involved in an antiviral defense, and at least 10% of the patients with severe disease create autoantibodies that attack the immune system instead of fighting with the virus. Seeing these harmful antibodies in so many patients was a stunning observation, and this can provide us the very first explanation for why COVID-19 can be so severe in some people while most other infected by the same virus are okay. So if someone is tested positive for the virus, then they should also be tested for the autoantibodies, because it's possible that removing such antibodies from the blood could ease the symptom of the disease. This study was carried out by seeking young people with severe forms of the disease to investigate whether these patients might have underlying weakness in their immune system that made them especially vulnerable to the virus. Because coronavirus is similar to influenza, they scanned the genome of patients and find out 13 genes that are involved in interferon immunity against influenza. In healthy people, interferon molecules act as the body's security system. They detect invading viruses and bacteria and sounds the alarm, which bring other immune defenders to the scene. This team has also previously discovered the genetic mutations that hinder interferon production and its function. People with these mutations are more vulnerable to certain pathogens, including those that causes influenza. And by finding similar mutations in people with COVID-19, the team thought that it could help the doctors to identify patients who are at a risk of developing severe forms of the disease. And it could also lead us to a new direction for the treatment of such patients. By analyzing the sample of around 3,000 patients, they started to uncover harmful mutation in young and old people. The team found that 23 out of 659 patients studied carried error in genes involved in producing antiviral interferons. Without a full complement of these antiviral defenders, COVID-19 patients would not be able to remove the virus. And this actually sparked a new idea, because maybe there are other patients with severe COVID-19 and they also lack the interferons. But at the same time, there may be some patients whose bodies themselves are harming these molecules. And by analyzing the sample of many patients, they found out that the autoantibodies against the coronavirus may block the interferon action. And this was not present with patients who were suffering with mild COVID-19. It is an unprecedented finding, and you can almost predict who can be severely ill with COVID-19 or not. The vast majority of the patients with the harmful antibodies were the men. They are more likely to develop severe forms of COVID-19, and this work offers one explanation for that gender variability. If these harmful antibodies are produced in men, then they could be linked to the mutation on X chromosome, because such mutations might not affect the women, because they have a second X chromosome to compensate for any defect in the first. But for men who carries only a single X chromosome, even a small genetic error can be consequential. In addition to the current study, hundreds of other scientists are also involved with an international consortium called the COVID Human Genetic Effort and are working to understand a second piece of the coronavirus puzzle. Instead of finding the factors that make patients especially vulnerable to COVID-19, they are looking the genetic factors that might be protective against coronavirus. By understanding the mutation in the virus and the autoantibodies, the scientists are very much hopeful for finding the cure for this mutation. So that was all from my side. Hope you find this video useful. If you did, then do like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, Stay healthy, stay shiny.